Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Detention. I'm not sure how much more game there is here. I imagine there's at least another hour's worth of gameplay, but it is very feasible that now that we are halfway through the second act, this may very much just be a two-act play. We're going to add the two items we've collected in the fan and the sword, which will open this gate and either take us to the afterlife or uh, or probably just give us a item to continue through these point and click adventure puzzles. Now, I am calling this a point and click adventure game, but it is noticeably missing any dialogue paths. We're not talking with anybody. We're not having to agree with people, get people to agree with us. There's been the only one that we even talked with was the boy character who died very quickly. Um, it is definitely kind of a catch-22 in a horror game. You want it to be spooky, so you want the character to be alone, but then if you're making a point and click adventure game, they can't really talk to people most of the time. We really haven't gotten any new evidence as far as what the necklace is all about. We definitely are going through a collection of monsters, as it were, but then we also in the last episode got tricked because we ended up being attacked by dolls that were similar to the lingered but didn't look anything like the lingered, nor did they make a sound like the lingered. So we've got a nice little door opening animation. A chill air drifts inward. Down we go. So we're still, I think, wandering around the school, but I wouldn't be surprised if the school may have been built on a military base. And then that would explain the statues or people chained up in the basement of the school building. Yeah. That would make a lot of sense. And then maybe all the ghosts we're seeing are the ghosts of people who were died, captured / tortured in the military base. A copper statue of the president. It can be seen from almost anywhere in the school. So essential point ... Feels like I'm being watched. We went from a plaster wall building to a brick walled building, and now we have wood framed buildings. So, and we're kind of back to plaster walls now. It would be a little annoying if it turned out that there were going to be 3 floors for this building, but who knows. And see, though, now we're seeing bars and chains and barbed wire and a long hallway. Okay. So we've got another one of these creepy lantern persons. We'll hold our breath when they get closer. You can definitely tell how almost all of these characters and these monsters are built around made up stories by school children in Asian schools. Like, it's totally something a preteen / teenager would tell each other as a ghost story. And because the solutions, if there ever are solutions to escape these kinds of monsters, are always very simplistic things you could do at any point. You don't need magic weapons, talismans, spells. You just have to hold your breath or not look away or answer a question a certain way. Unfortunately, a lot of these Asian monster games never really translate to the West because Westerners have never heard of these monsters, so they're not really that relatable. They just look weird and supernatural. They don't have that underlying fear that somebody would have if they'd been hearing these stories as they were growing up. I imagine some of these signs that aren't being translated that were in the previous rooms, some of those symbols may have said something that would have been potentially informative. Music room, there's a piano inside here. It was probably last year used during the freshman chorus competition. Well, in we go. So here we have what looks like a torso or something in a cage. It's kind of like a straw man. In the middle of the room hangs a bird cage. A puppet lies locked inside. It's got a hood on it. I've never seen this style before. So yeah, we thought we were going to do a puppet show at some point. Well, it seems like I can't just take the puppet at the moment. So this puzzle may be getting more complicated as it goes. Yeah, it definitely seems like we're going to have to play a musical note to free the puppet, to get several pieces of the puppet to put on a puppet show. Okay, I think I'm getting the idea. Hallway light switch, which it's not letting me turn it off. And I don't know if there's really a reason why I would want to turn it off. There's a danger in a lot of games of repetitive assets, repetitive walls and doors, and just having too much to stretch the length of the game out. The broadcasting room, there are some playback devices inside. That's not what I wanted to do. There are definitely some horror games like this where you are just constantly being chased and you have to wander around to find randomly spawning keys, and sometimes you have to hide in shadows or hide in a closet as the monster's about to pass. Those games tend to be on the bad side of the scale as far as games are concerned, because it's just all procedurally generated and randomized, and there's usually not any story to it, and it's just done on the cheap. I would much prefer a thought out process where each key is in a specific spot and it makes sense where the spot is. On the table are some broadcasting equipment. The speakers are emitting a small staticky sound. You can almost hear whispering. Notice how I'm pretty much having to click on everything twice to see if there's a repeated thing. Looks like there's a humanoid body or two here and faces here. Trees grown through the wall. There are leaves all around the room. Moss grows on the door and windows. Alright. Large 8-track player. It's usually used for school broadcasts. So I see 4 lights. If it's an 8-track player, then I guess the button probably switches to the next side of an 8-track. Although 8-tracks only go in one way. You don't flip them like cassette tapes. They are instead just, they have a top track and a bottom track on the tape, I think. And 8-tracks, interestingly, are looped in a circle, so you don't have to rewind them. But they were too big and limited in, I think, the amount you could put on them. It's usually used for school broadcasts. The power is connected. What do I just need to stick in a 8-track tape in? I guess that is the case. So we need to find an 8-track. 8-tracks, I think, probably suffered somewhat by calling themselves 8-tracks. If they instead just called themselves cassettes, then they would have not felt as limited. But they mostly ran into problems of just being too big, too much plastic on them. Cassette tapes are inherently designed to be as cheap as possible, and that's why they became popular. And for the amount of space on a CD, those were even cheaper. Alright, so that's a whole nother area. Let's not go this way first. The door's been unlocked. So it is just a full loop, as it were. So there is a entire circle around the school / military facility. We're seeing barbed wire here. Although at the time in Taiwan, it might make a lot of sense that there would be barbed wire around the school walls. In fact, there might be barbed wire even today around school walls. Arguably, there should be barbed wire and fences around school walls just to protect the students. We have here what looks like a puppet show again. A wooden puppet theater. I see it often when we visit the temple. There seems to be a couple props on the theater. Climb the ladder and take a look. Take a look. Okay. So we can see the scene. Is it trying to remind me of something? So this is like the auditorium with the way hanging upside down. Pair of mannequin hands. Is it set up for a puppet play? So we need 2 puppets. And I kind of know 2 separate places where I can find puppets. Maybe 3 puppets. This all seems to be getting more and more personal as we go forward as to the actions of the character we're playing. Seems like there's something stuck inside the tree instead of it being just a case that she is trapped in the nightmare world and has nothing to it. An 8-track tape found under the tree containing 4 tracks. This one is labeled prohibited. The contents are probably censored. Why would an 8-track tape have only 4 tracks? That doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. Track is probably a bad phrase to use too. It doesn't mean a lot to people inside and outside of music in that fashion. If you were to tell me there are 8 tracks in a song, that would mean in my mind that there are 8 discrete things that were recorded by microphone or synthesizer So you might have a drum beat machine that is making one track. You might have a recording of a guitar playing that's a track like that. And you can have potentially as many tracks as you would want. It's too dark to see anything, so we're going back this way for a jump scare, obviously. It would have made a lot more sense for it to be an 8-song game. 8-song device. Oops. I was supposed to go the other way and face the other way. Although it doesn't seem like it matters too much, because when you die, you just end up here, and I've already died twice anyways. So this just gives you like little helpful hints. The number of candles might be going down, and I may be losing lives here as far as a game over sequence. But yeah, I would call an 8-track more of an 8 music. The Lantern Spectre once roamed as a lingered, it now serves the underworld dutifully. You will remain unseen if your face is turned away. And it's just this old lady talking. It smells your fear. Do remember to hold your breath. I wonder if I should follow this old lady. So I collect them all, scavenged from all the pain in the world. The road has collapsed, and there is no way back. The river of life flows, souls perpetually sink and rise. Yep. So that was a bit of a jump scare, having to flip the switch multiple times. And here she is, saying the same thing, now bending over on the ground. Clearly they don't want this to be a game where you actually lose. The distressed cries of the weak. When you find yourself powerless, you choose to harden those who are frail. Oh, well, this seemingly has put me back at the save spot, but the door is open. So I have the 8-track, so it didn't reset me, it just put me in a different spot. Yep, and you can't translate what these say, so I have no idea what these say. It feels like it's another area that will be opened up later. Potentially. Maybe, maybe not. I feel like there's a slight danger of the 4 tracks of the 8-track tape giving me notes, and then I'm gonna have to figure out the right notes to play on the piano, and that could be a complicated puzzle. I don't know why a tape would play like that on an 8-track player, but whatever. I guess we're supposed to switch. And again, this is a case where in Taiwanese you probably know what this is, but to a Westerner this means nothing. So it sounds kind of like he's counting out steps for the marching band, and maybe they're playing a like Chinese propaganda song. This one sounds like it's a radio play. This would be really a great time to have subtitles at the bottom here while this is playing. So this is the solution. Dun dun dun. Up. I'm hoping I don't have to actually play that, though, because that's going to be difficult. And it's quiet in here. Yeah. Dun 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 dun. This one doesn't play. None of the black ones play. It seems like it feels like it's a fairly simple pattern of maybe just going up and then going back down. But I don't think it's that simple. I may just have to straight up cheat it and look up a walkthrough here, because I am so personally tone deaf that I'm gonna have a hard time memorizing even these few notes. Yeah. I may have to just look this up. Like, I'm just not good with music. Best I can figure, it's supposed to be this. Or maybe this. But yeah. Yeah. I don't think I can, um, I don't think I can figure that out. Like, I'm just so pathetically tone deaf. Um, and I'm sure everybody else on the planet could figure that out fairly easily, but I just have to admit defeat and admit that I'm not that. I just never um, learned to hear music by ear, and I'm just so tone deaf. Okay. So the solution here is this 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2. Metal sound came from somewhere in the room. So yeah, pretty much have to do that for any kind of music puzzle. And inherently, I can't blame game developers for having piano puzzles and music puzzles in their game. All puzzles potentially would be better if there's like a skip that would pop up, or you could skip after spending a few minutes or having a few failed attempts. I really didn't even put a few minutes into it, so I can't guarantee with 100% that there isn't a skip that pops up after a while. But I totally could see how somebody who even had like 6 months of training as a kid to play the piano would have been able to solve that puzzle. And in many countries, probably most Asian countries, you probably do have more music classes and piano training than people in the United States like me did. Um, so, yeah, I literally maybe had a music class in elementary school for 1 year, and I don't know if any of it had anything to do with actually playing piano at all, or understanding and being able to identify notes. Well, that was creepy. We definitely are getting more creepy jump scares. And there's a fat kid with suspenders, is what I guess this puppet is supposed to represent. The cage door is open. Inside is a puppet. Take it out. Yes. And there was a creepy hand. The detached, twisted hands. Fingerprints completely rubbed off. Wonder if there's a specific reason why fingerprints being rubbed off was mentioned. So this event may have been a indication of a piano recital that actually did happen when she was alive. We have a music class scheduled every semester. It's mostly used as a testing center though. So that this spooky event very well may have been around the idea of a music recital or presentation she did. And some of these spooky events may very well be connected to things she did before she ended up being dead, which is, I assume, what is happening here. Now, I am a little confused because I only have one puppet. And I feel like I'm supposed to get 2 puppets. But I don't have any other hint towards that. This puppet doesn't go here. It can go there. The puppet with the hood over its head. The attire gives me a feeling of familiarity. This scene, is it trying to remind me of something? Alright. So, something must have changed somewhere else. I would have to say, because we are missing any items. It may just be that we need to go back to that laboratory area and get the puppet out of the jar now. Which I think is this way? Nope, it's not this way. The game is having us walk in circles. Yeah. There are puppets in these jars. They are each holding puppets inside. And these guys are not swinging around, but I don't think I'd want to mess with them. Puppet theater on the hand-drawn cart. Let's go back to where we first started. Let's see if we find something more over here in this second act. You can't sit in a chair and end up back in the first area. Which, yeah, there's definitely a question as to how this would have connected to the other part of the school, unless that's the part that would have connected to the other part of the school. That's where the bridge would have connected to, which is possible. So that leaves me pretty much, I think, going upstairs. It would be weird. Well, did we ever go downstairs? Yes, we did. Might as well just check this out. Yeah, there's not really a good reason why anything would have been changed over here. And it would be weird for the game to just open up the roof and end the game at this point. It could do that, certainly. It wouldn't be super surprising if this game did just kind of run out of steam and decides to wrap up while leaving some, I guess, unfinished business. But yeah, it definitely feels like there's a lock here. There's these roots. There's a different movie to play in the projection room. These movies are all tangled together, which implies to me that there is yeah. If we got rid of the roots, maybe it would untangle the film, and then maybe that would help me. There's nothing over here, as far as I can tell. So yeah, unless we are supposed to actively just walk to a place, we've hit that dangerous point in any point and click adventure game where we're just wandering around. Let's see. It doesn't really feel like there should be something extra to interact with. But it could be that there's a scene somewhere here where I'm getting distracted and looking at the same things over and over again, and I'm missing something fairly obvious to click on. Puppet theater on a hand-drawn cart. But there's no interaction there. I wonder if maybe I broke the game by dying. That might be the case, as maybe there was something that was supposed to drop by defeating the lantern character, and the lantern character killing me broke this sequence. Stay still. I almost died again there. Just barely fast enough there. This office is blocked off by a fence. Layers of barbed wire. Hope I don't get caught and tear my flesh. So yeah, we definitely can't get in there. But there was something to see there. The metal door inside. There might be another way around. Okay. So we're looking for a way inside that area. Maybe we need the hand. Doesn't seem like we need the hand. Doesn't seem like we can take the hand. Maybe we need to turn the light off? Nope, you can't turn the light off. The tape is missing. Weird. Is it stuck? Can't change tracks anymore. The tape is gone. So maybe we needed to recognize the tape was gone. Okay. Is there possibly another way around? Maybe I need the puppet as a way of using it to climb. Is there something else we can click on? No. Definitely doesn't seem like it. Unless there's... Maybe I'm supposed to go get the flagpole chain and use that as a rope to climb over the barbed wire fence. I mean, that's kind of all I can think of. The game was doing so good about not having these kinds of scenarios where it's just confusing. And yet, here we are, confused. Yeah. So the game has gone from spooky to just annoying. I think the cat lady, which this is the best game I think I have to compare it to, managed to avoid this by mostly keeping its level's very small. You don't have a big group of areas that you have to wander around or consider. And the zoom out is perhaps a little bit too much on this one. There's just a little too much on the sides of the screen. It might have been better even for the lantern characters if the screen zoomed out when the lantern monsters appeared, but zoomed in when they weren't around. Alright. So my instincts are telling me this is where we're going. The office is blocked by a fence, layers of barbed wire. Hope I don't get caught. Doesn't look like there really is barbed wire here. Oh, I've just literally never been in this room. So I guess I've just been coming through this, walking past this several times and just not paid any attention to it. The windows are covered in protective talismans. We have a phone. Isn't this the phone from the principal's office? ... And we can't read that, but whatever. Should we try and call people? Let's see. 911. Nothing there. 9. I just got an achievement for trying to dial something. 9 0. I have no idea what 911 equivalent would be in Taiwanese. But zero. Didn't do anything. The windows are covered in protective talismans. Alright, we're supposed to look here and let him pass. Look away. What I'd say is funny here is though, is this one seems like it's really just gonna walk to the edge of the wall and then potentially either disappear or walk through the wall. There's nothing important in the bookshelves. Yeah, it's probably established as a good point to say that they walk right through walls. The cabinet looks familiar. There's a key inside. Now I have the roof key. Alright, well, we are now back on track, at least in part. So no longer are we just wandering around confused. And since we're walking by this, we might as well save our progress. I'm saving way more often than I imagine you really need to. So we go to the roof, we find a film. Maybe the film is a film of us, the character we're playing as, jumping off the roof and killing themselves. If that is the case, then we play it in the projection room and probably get a spooky thing. And then probably that we just saw somebody run to the edge here. If it's not me jumping off the roof killing myself, it might be me chasing someone / pushing them off the roof. Remember, I do think this character may be evil. So yeah, we just saw her jump off the front face of the roof. We now have a bloodstained film. Projector film found on the roof of the red house. So what may very well have occurred here is she may have betrayed 2 or 3 people and claimed that they were communist, and then they may have ended up killing themselves or being killed. And she just doesn't want to remember that she did these horrible things. I drag this to the center. I wonder what's contained in this film. And let's go find out. And I imagine this isn't just going to show us a film. A lot of visual gimmicks, flickering lights, spooky elements. Gotta applaud the thoroughness there. 0, 2, 5, 1, 2, 1. 0, 2, 5, 1, 2, 1. So that's the phone number I guess we have to call. 0, 2, 5, 1, 2, 1. We can't drag this here. And so that gave us a phone number, which is not exactly what I expected, but it's a key nonetheless to a lock. This entire game is just find the key, find the lock, and then repeat. You don't often even have 2 different keys for 2 different locks, so it's not really that complicated. 0, 2, 5, 1, 2, 1 is the number we're looking for. Very decent chance we'll run into a monster walking around. The fact that they're making you walk around is ensuring that at least there's a decent chance you'll run into a monster every now and then to make the game a little bit longer. I'm a little bit shocked I'm not done with the game. And I don't think I am going to be done with the game. I think at most I might be done with an act, and then that would be about it, because it seems like there's enough here for a 3rd act, or at least we'd want more story resolution. Alright, so 0, 2, 5, 1, 2, 1. ... Miss Fang, the country appreciates your assistance. So you probably did call in and call them label them as commies or communist. You name names effectively. What's left is only the dial tone. Now we're in a cutscene and we're being chased kind of obviously that the talismans don't work that well if somebody can bang on the door. Or maybe they do work because all he could do was bang on the door. And that was where an act would have ended previously. Military police puppet. Puppet picked up in the hallway dressed as a military policeman is holding a pistol in his hand. Alright, so if we weren't going to get into this office, or if this office was the final location, there may just not be anything else that we need to worry about. Like, because we've kind of done everything everywhere else. And so it really would just come down to, are we going to get another area with more puzzles, or is this going to be the end of it? And it's very believable that the title of this game, Detention, does not mean being detained in school, but means being detained by the police. It would be kind of weird if this twist of the story was that this girl was called the communist and detained by the military police. It definitely seems more likely that she claimed other people were, whether accurately or not. Alright, well, I didn't think a real bullet would come out of that gun. There's even a smell of gunpowder. A visceral scene. Is what's coming out of it blood? Why I'm being shown this violent scene? And so once again, his head has been destroyed. The guy hanging upside down gets shot in the crossfire. He fell off the puppet's body. Basement key. An old worn bronze key opens the door in the red house basement. Okay. Now I'm in a weird position because I think we might be done fairly quickly here. Or we may not. Again, it definitely feels like the Taiwanese military is more than willing to shoot people on the smallest of suspicions. It's locked. I'd forgotten about this door. So, it's very possible there are a few other places I've forgotten about. The map is getting a little too complicated, a little too big. The door's been unlocked. Yeah, and I think this is gonna just lead us to a new area. Yeah, we have a long hallway here, which makes it seem like we're gonna get chased. Here we're seeing desks. And we've transitioned. Wei, thanks for doing this for me. Interesting vision here. The game may just go in loops. This may be just a nightmare. Not at all. I'm always willing to help if you ask. Though I'm sorry to have to drag you all the way here to my classroom. It's okay, my classroom has individual studies now. It'd be a bother if we were there. You sure nobody else knows about these meetings, right? Of course, miss. Absolutely not. One thing though, the book list is quite sensitive in material. Please be careful with it. So she was a part of the book club of banned books. And maybe she got caught and she then snitched on other people to save herself. Yes, thanks for the reminder. I know reading these books could be trouble, but it should be our freedom to pursue knowledge, right? Yeah, I'm with you on that. In fact, I think Miss Yin also said something like that before. I think you're just like her. You're both courageous and talented. So Miss Yin, the teacher we saw at the very beginning, probably also shot and killed at some point. You think we're alike? I can't compare to her anyways. She's the principal's daughter, and they're known to be a family of successful scholars. It's okay. I believe she thinks highly of you. I remember she gave your work a nice compliment once. She said, "Strengthen thy wings, the sky's the limit." She really said something like that? ... Hey, let me ask you a question. I see Miss Yin and Mr. Cheng chat a lot. Do you maybe know what their relationship, what kind of relationship they have? So yeah, that seems like that's a partial revelation and not the wrap up of the game. Paper bag left behind by Wei. The book club. I've been weak, but you once told me the pen is mightier than the gun. This is the book club reading list. With proper use, I could use this unassuming list to practically destroy those in my way. It's a gun, obviously. Oh, I'm gonna have to risk it and go further, I think. And we are now behind the fence. It would be an interesting twist if she's just crazy and she shoots up the skull. But that kind of seems like what might have happened. There's a scene in The Cat Lady with mirrors like this. It's actually a little surprising there aren't more 2D pictures, games with mirrors in them, because that's pretty easy to animate. We can see this character in the mirror seems to be moving a little bit further ahead at a different angle. I imagine we'll just see a twist here. And it looks like Miss Wei is reflected having a basket over her head. So if she was the principal's daughter, that seemed not to really protect her. Miss Yin, what are you doing over here? As a teacher, I always show concern for students who are a little rebellious. Remember what you did? What? Have you forgotten? Or do you not want to remember? You... just a harmless piece of paper, right? Instead, I had to die. He had to die, and many other students had to die. Was it you? You just kept causing me trouble. You're driving me insane, or driving me crazy. Sometimes when you trip up, you're never able to get back up again. How dare you? This is all because of you. So, I guess Wei is blaming her. You ruined everything. I don't know if it's the mirror talking or if it's me talking. If you had problems, why couldn't you have come to talk to me instead? I'm getting tripped up on reading here. Shut up. If you were gone, none of this would have happened. And so you can definitely see in the mirror what really happened versus What didn't happen, and now we're in a scene. I skipped that. You want something. So you have all this broken glass, and the gun's still in your hand. And I guess you're just supposed to go forward. We could go back, but I don't think you're going to see anything. Now it seems like we're approaching a Buddhist equivalent of a gates of heaven judgment for possibly shooting the teacher, and turning in a lot of other people to be killed. Justice Cheng Huang. Mom liked to bring all her worries and concerns to you. Sometimes I think it's fruitless. Something I think is fruitless, but sometimes there's no one else to look to for help. My hands together in silent prayer. Here are my questions. I, Fei Rang Shin, invoke your guidance so I can pick about love, about prospects, about family. Let's go with about the prospects. I imagine that's the right way to go. Will I be able to live my life by my choices and follow my heart down my own path? Apparently these follow. You throw these and they give you answers based on their orientation. Yang Po, the laughing answer. So I can only face reality obediently and wait until God knows when. Do I have any other choice? Then I'll also ask about love, I guess. Will I be able to live a simple life with loved ones and family? Yin Po, the crying answer. I do not seek what cannot be. Ah, this was just a humble request. You can be so cruel. Ask about family then, I guess. You have to ask all three. Will my parents who quarrel and fight have a second chance together? Yang Po, the laughing answer. You cannot cry over spilt milk. Is that so? But that was my family. My mom and that person. We used to smile and laugh together. ... Do I ask for too much? Is life just a never-ending bitterness? Or is it all just me? Divine answer. So it is because of me. ... Youth is hardly ever given a choice, pushed through the grind until their innocence fades away. I guess I still have to click to go forward. I've become a wooden horse on the carousel of life, a jumbled mess of lifeless emotion. Infused with frantic energy, I spin ever faster. Okay, well, with that, it definitely doesn't feel like we're just going to end here. And I guess if we did just end here, or end in 5 minutes, I would just attach the next recording to this recording. So I think at an hour and 10 minutes, we need to end this recording. I don't know if there's much more to really try and figure out or learn as far as the story goes, because we don't have a lot of characterization of our main character. It's kind of hard to to feel anything other than negativity towards the main character and her actions, um, or where really we should be feeling some kind of sympathy towards her either craziness, like in the cat lady, you kind of definitely sympathize with the cat lady being crazy a lot more, or you need to at least understand her emotions and her motivations, even if you don't agree with them. Otherwise, you just paint the character you're playing as the antagonist and as the bad guy. And most people don't want to play with a pure bad guy. There should be at least a hope for some redeeming quality, even in a horror game like this. At this point, I don't think there is any hope for a redeeming quality. I think we're just doomed to continue down this horrific experience, and I wouldn't be surprised if it just goes in a loop and you have to do it all over again for all eternity. I imagine the game will actually go to credits, but for our main character, I imagine that's potentially what she's um, going through. Being set in the 1960s also doesn't really change a lot in my mind, or being set in Taiwan in the 1960s doesn't change a lot in my mind. Yes, some of the cultures and the religion is different, and just customs are different, but at the end of the day, it would be very easy to take this story and retell it in a Western school with a Western kid in the United States, and um, it would be almost exactly the same um, outcome and same feeling. It, if anything, I guess this is a great example of where the creators of Detention Red Candle Games told a story from the perspective they're familiar with, which is very applaudable because there have been games like Life is Strange is a great example where it's two Canadian guys telling the story of a California teenage girl effectively, and two middle-aged Canadian guys just never lived that experience, and so the story doesn't come off as authentic or genuine. It feels odd. So it is better for artists to tell stories that they are familiar with and have experience with to at least some extent. Not everything has to be autobiographical or anything like that, but it is very weird when I see Western developers try to make Japanese visual novels, and that happens quite a bit. And the art style just does not feel right. The writing doesn't feel right, and it just feels very inauthentic. Um, you see it in a lot of Western cartoons too. They try to be and try to look like Japanese anime shows, but they fail miserably to actually feel like a Japanese anime show. A lot of Netflix cartoons that they call anime these days are not made by Japanese animators or writers, and they are fairly obvious that while they may get 60% of the way there, they don't get anywhere close to 100% of the way there. Anyways, that would be a conversation for a different time. That's going to be it for this recording, though. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.